Well, let's bring in Ben Aris from Berlin now. He's the editor-in-chief of BNE IntelliNews. Good to have you back with us, Ben. Can we start with the latest barrage of air attacks from Russia over Ukraine? Is this timed to coincide with Victory Day, do you think?
Yes, I think so. And it's also tit for tat for the drone strikes on the Kremlin last week. It's very important. The Victory Day parade, the Russians call it not the Second World War, but the Great Patriotic War. And it's hard to underestimate how deeply that victory is embedded in the Russian psyche, in so much as it was an awful war. While the Allies lost about 500,000 each, the Russians lost, or the Soviets lost, something like 25 million people. I mean, something like 90% of 28-year-olds were killed. And so for them, it's an extremely important event, this commemoration, this memorial to the end of the war. And of course, Putin's linked this great patriotic fervor to the war in Ukraine, which is the motivation for calling the Ukrainians Nazis. And so he's trying to rev everyone up, saying, look, this is the same existential threat we faced in 1945. And so the ceremony that's about to happen tomorrow has even more significance. And I think the drone strikes today and yesterday are symbolic of that. I mean, he needs to show people that the war is active and that Russia is fighting against the so-called Nazis, and that the patriotic memorial of the Great Patriotic War tomorrow will be them in order to gee up the population and keep support within Russia strong.
And we saw that extraordinary broadside delivered by the head of the Wagner Group, Prigozhin, aimed at the top military brass, saying that basically Russia's top command hasn't been supporting its fight in Bakhmut. It does appear now that he has received pledges and assurances of enough support so they can continue the fight there. But why is taking Bakhmut so important for the Russians?
I think it's more important to Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner military company. He's clearly, I think, had political ambitions. And, you know, the war itself is ground down to a war of attrition with neither side making much advance. And so both sides are desperate for some sort of symbolic victory. And for Prigozhin and the Wagner troops that are doing most of the fighting in Bakhmut, to actually take the city is very important.
Can I ask you about Zaporizhzhia now? Because the Russian-installed governor in that Ukrainian town, which is home to Europe's largest nuclear plant, has been evacuating residents in and around that town. It's a concerning sign, isn't it, given the fact that there have been warnings from the UN's atomic agency for a long time that a nuclear disaster could happen at that site?
Indeed, and moreover, we're expecting any day now the Ukrainians to launch the widely expected counteroffensive, and it seems that they've been stockpiling weapons, and that there should be a big push. And retaking the nuclear power plant is one of the goals that's on the agenda for that push. And consequently, the evacuation could be taken as a signal that this attack is going to come very soon, and that the fighting around Zaporizhzhia will be particularly intense. And again, the fear remains that the nuclear reactor will be hurt and cause another sort of Chernobyl meltdown, which happened a decade ago. So it remains to be seen. But as I say, the things are very tense at the moment in expectation of this counteroffensive.
Okay, Ben Aris, we'll have to leave it there, but it's always great to get your analysis. Thank you.